Hey guys, welcome back. It is Lucid, and this is Lucid from the future, coming back to record a missing gap. I think the previous few episodes have been like the little long form turns that were taking place in between the blitzes, and after this will be the blitz part. And I don't know why I don't have this middle little gap here recorded for this particular few turns, but I'm coming back to do it. So as a reminder, last episode, we got all in by the guy who actually was position 1. He was the biggest person in the game at the time, Sarmatia, and they sent literally everything at me. We killed it all. Didn't hardly lose much. And then after that, I posted the screenshot of that battle to chat and told everybody to come get some. We were happy to give away some of the spoils. And yeah, and so now we're going to try to finish them off. I think the player had needed to get a sub, and they had said something cheeky about being sad that they had to get a sub because that means they wouldn't be there to kill me. And then they proceeded to die before their sub came in, trying to kill me. So, yeah, they got wrecked. But they still, like, okay, all their military's dead, and now they're the biggest player without any military or mages or probably even that many gems. So, I mean, if they get a sub or not, we need to go finish them off really quickly. We found a few sites here. A maze in a stone circle. And we have moved on top of this with just the tiniest amount of stuff here to do some Skelly spam. As one does. And I didn't know if anything would be patrolling or not, so that's why we kind of did it. Maybe what was a little bit of overkill. Here we come kill a few guys who had retreated from the battle. And we're going to go ahead and move on top of their cap. We've got a lot of mages coming in. We're doing a bunch of elementals. Sadly, I only have lesser elementals right now, which is a little unfortunate. But, you know, we've got some sacreds here too. He could mount a defense here. It's possible I lose this. I think he's kind of given up. I don't know. If it was a player I knew probably didn't give up, I probably wouldn't attack with this smaller force. But you can see we put a ton of gems on our dude. We're trying to be respectful and, you know, take this out. Like we're doing some earth power, so we're going to have a lot of longevity. And this is going to be a tremendous amount of Skelly spam. And I don't think he has many mages, right? So even if he has a couple Witch Kings and some sacreds, I don't think he's going to have enough mages where he's going to be able to do anything. But we'll see. We're casting reanimation a ton here. I'm trying to turn a lot of these death gems into siege chaff. So we're going to get a big old pile of dudes. We're also casting Revive King once or twice. And that's going to give me an undead leader who can shuffle these guys over onto these forts. And we have this big army that we used to kill Helheim coming down. And, yeah, we're letting TNG vulture off both of our wars with Helheim here, and he's getting Macone from Sarmatia. And he was being very unfriendly in diplomacy. And I think he was planning on... I think these guys were going to attack me all in. They had worked together to kill Macone. So I think this guy was going to attack me. And then once it worked, he was going to come vulture off Helheim from me. And, well, this guy got fucked. And so he's like, okay, I guess I'll come vulture this dude. And part of that is annoying. But part of that is... I don't really want all this stuff. If I have all this stuff, I'm going to have to fight everyone because I'll be too big. So I'm happy to give some things away, but we have to kill Sarmatia, and I have invited everybody to join in because he's basically dead now. So TNG can come and join in, but really there's only 3 people who can eat him. It's me and TNG and TNN. So anyway, we've invited them, and how we divide it all up I'm kind of open to negotiating, but I don't want to give them too much. I mean, so I don't know. There's some negotiation. Like, I probably want to be the biggest, but I don't want to be the biggest where everybody's going to attack me. And TNG is enormous. Like, they are like this. Anyway, they're big. So we want to give them enough to be about as big as we are, but maybe not quite as much. Anyway, so we start taking this. And I think that is it for this turn. Now we go to the next turn, turn 37. Early spring. Okay, I know the next episode begins that I'm filling in the gap for on late summer. So I think I actually go through all these ones we have saved. Wait, is this the... You know what bothers me is when I save these things in the wrong goddamn folder. Because I swear I just clicked on 37. Yeah, and I've got 36 inside 37. Way to go, Lucid. So there's actually going to be a gap because I don't have enough turns here, and there's no way for me to get it because this was a Blitz game. So there's no like backup turns. Anyway, Sarmatia actually has resumed reigns. I think they had a turn of kind of morale failure, but now they're magic phasing some dudes to summon air elementals, and air elementals do really good against these little Skelly spam raiders. So they completely destroy this force. The were hyenas I think were twice born, but the white mages aren't coming back. He does it here, but I actually put some PD and it doesn't work. It's a little janky. Like if I have, oh no, this isn't just PD, I've got these guys. But if I have dudes here, the air elementals aren't gonna work. But if I don't, bad things happen. So I actually have to either stealth move my guys out or I have to stealth move them out, or I need a fair amount of PD. And PD won't save me if he moves them to the province I'm attacking into. But we basically are taking a bunch of the stuff. And this is kind of funny. TNG's going to storm Macone and gets absolutely wrecked by a Skelly spam communion that clogs up the gate. I mean, you just can't have funnier shit than this. I think she got fatigued out by the fire elemental or something. Or what was it? She's fatigued out. I can't tell what's doing it because she does have heat resistance. Oh, it's this Bane. She doesn't have gold resistance. And now she's fatigued out. The army's running. But the skeletons come back and knife her. That's just absolutely classic. The fate of vultures. But yeah, totally does not take this. And the Cav actually were kind of instrumental here because they clogged up the gate while the Skelly spam kind of ramped up. Bunch of events, they're probably bad. We cast Twice Born a few times. Here's one of the guys that came back after getting attacked by air elementals. Shango's over here killing some stuff. And we've done a bunch of raiding here. What is this? This turned 38, so I actually missed 37. But I basically raided on top of the cap. The big army has made it down here, and they're on top of this fort. It's popped. We're going to storm it. We're bringing everybody else on top of the cap. I think at this time, I think I had a nap with TNN. I think they have ended it. And I had a nap with Roos, and they have ended it. And I think I was like, TNN, hey, you can, like, we can have peace. I'm happy to give some of this stuff up, which I had, I don't even know if it's an outgoing Diplo now. I think I'd done it in Discord or something, but yeah, it was in Discord. And I was like, yeah, I'm happy to give some of this stuff, which I had been happy all along. He might have been able to talk me into taking Sarmatia's capital, because he doesn't have a cap yet, a second cap. Roos wanted Helheim's cap, and I told them they could have like this stuff or like this. They could have like 2 or 3 provinces. I didn't really want to give up the cap for the gym income. Looking back on it, I probably could have given this up, to buy peace with Rus. But Rus also didn't have a strong negotiating position. I have a fair number of mages up here. I think I can keep this from Rus, especially if I shift this army back up. But I was happy to give away at least 3 provinces. I didn't want one of those 3 to be the capital. Looking back on it, I might should have taken that deal. This is me from the future. TNN didn't even negotiate at all. I think I can't remember what I said. I said, you know, TNC's really big. I don't even want all this land. I'm happy to give some of it to you. If you want to go back to peace, like, I didn't really get a ton of say in how the game state evolved. Like, Sarmatia all into me, lost everything. I could have, I guess, let them be, not do anything. That is another move that may have actually been a good move, even though it didn't seem one at the time. Because I actually didn't want to get that big. That said, I was not a big player after just being, you know, halfway eating Helheim with Rus. I probably needed to get a bit more, and there's not a ton of territory I could have gotten from Sarmatia. So I think even looking back, you know, like hindsight, getting some of Sarmatia, like killing them, probably was the wise move. I think killing them, and maybe I should have given up Helheim to Rus, and then split off part of this with TNN. But I don't know. I kind of still don't really want to give up Helheim. I don't know. However it is, TNN... This is actually a funny story, guys. So way long ago, like 3 years ago, there's a game I was playing Hinnom. I was terrified of Arco because nobody knew who Arco was back then, really. Like, he hadn't won the tournament or whatever. I knew Arco was an excellent player. And anyway, I could see he was just... First of all, he came up with some crazy bless for Abyssia and was wrecking people. And I was terrified of him. And so I didn't want to fight him by myself. I recruit the guy playing TNN to help me fight... to fight Arco, who's playing Abyssia, and I'm playing Hinnom. And so I recruit him into it. It was kind of tough. And he gets into it. He declares war. And I have been getting smacked by Arco. Like, I'm attacking him, but all my things have failed. I've lost like 4 or 5 Melkorts. He smacked around an army too. I'm not at risk of being conquered really yet, but he has parried every single blow I've thrown at him. But I had good reason to think that we needed to do something about him now, because he had eaten somebody else. He had an awake god that was rushing construction 9 for lanterns, and then was going to take off and do all sorts of scary Abyssia things. And anyway, long story short, I had recruited him in to be to help deal with Arco. And Arco, as soon as he got the war declaration from this guy, he offers to buy me out. And he's buying me out when I have, like, been getting spanked. And I named a very high price. I was like, I want 4 provinces and a throne and one of your forts. And this is early in the game when, like, taking a fort from somebody is a big deal. You know, it's like turn 25 or something, right? And he has, like, 4 or 5, he has like 5 forts, and I'm getting one of them and his throne, and like 4 provinces. And I had no way I could take that in a war. And I didn't think he would take the deal. And he says, okay, I'll do it. So he does it. And I don't have the heart to tell this player that I had talked him into, like, oh my God, there's this Arco's a problem. We have to deal with him. You know, I had brought him into the alliance, and then I had backed out, and I felt horrible about it. And I couldn't bring myself to tell him that I had backed out. So instead I sent him, like, scouting intel. I was like, okay, here's where his armies is. It looks like they're coming your way. And I told him about it. I helped him try to, like, brainstorm the communion stuff, like how to have this thing set up to... I wanted him to beat Arco. And I didn't want to back out, but I literally got it. He made me an offer I couldn't refuse, really. It was more I did more damage to him economically by piecing out than I did staying at war. However, it allowed him to commit his armies to the other front. Anyway, this player has not forgiven me for that. And so anyway, when I was telling him this about switching games back to this game, I was telling him I really, I want to give away some of this land. I don't want much of this. He's like, I don't trust anything about the game state from you. I was like, oh shit, that's not very good. I guess we don't have anything to talk about then. So yeah, I was not able to Diplo at it with this guy. And this guy, the guy playing this, the guy who started playing this is Zan. I've played a ton of games with him. Anyway, he subbed out. The new player in here was being very cheeky and like, oh, I'm not gonna... Anyway, he was starting to be very cheeky about, oh, we're gonna coalition you and you're gonna be dead. And didn't really want to peace out. So, yeah, anyway. It was very hard to negotiate with these guys because this guy didn't want to negotiate. He didn't even want land. And this guy wanted more than I was willing to give. And meanwhile, this other party, TNC, I've been giving a ton to, and I'd be even willing to probably give some more. So anyway, that's all happening. We're moving on top of Sauro's cap. But the diplomacy thing is really important. I think that's the part that's missing between this and the next one. How all of this evolves. So yeah, I think that's basically it. That's turn 38. Let's check out turn 39. But that, by the way, is a sign of yeah. I mean, Arca made me a deal I really couldn't refuse. I could have, but God, it would have been, oh no, he's gonna murder this with the air elementals. So here I have PD, and you can see my thought process. I'm like, oh, well, I need to put PD. I put these guys at the back. I should have put them at the front, so the air elementals come and mess around with the PD, not these guys. So we make a lot of skeletons, but we don't make enough. And this is painful because these guys, they're upkeep free. They're great units. They're my white mages, and they're gone. It's not like my Buddhas who came back as white mages. Very painful. If I positioned them at the front, I had a chance, and I probably needed a bit more PD. We take this fort from them, though. They don't have too much to say about that. We'll watch the battle. They're doing some Skelly spam. They're doing some sleep. But they don't get all the Lion Tribe, and some of them get to the back and pop them in the face. So that's what's happening. This fort is ours. This fort is now cracked. I can't remember if we storm it or not. I think I forget to storm it. I wanted to storm it. I really want the Air Master fort, and I can't remember where they're coming from. It's not here. Maybe it's his throne down here or something. I don't know. Do I have any outgoing diplomacy? No. I think it was all diplomacy was in Discord. So TNC still got this fort popped. This is Macone. Moving stuff down here. I can't remember. I think I've given this to him, and I may have given this to him. No, I think I give this to Kailasa, because Kailasa's like, I'm gonna end my nap with you too. Like, God damn it, you assholes. Like, okay, you want this. So I think I give this to him. I might give him one more thing. And this again is me in like hindsight, so I'm gonna probably have like a tiny bit of spoilers, but this is one of the things that kind of sucks about a 9-player game is once a bunch of people get their mindset that like, oh, we're gonna all in you, there's nobody else on the board to backstab them. So it's like a very stable, and y'all are gonna see me struggle with this and get really salty the next few episodes. It's a very stable configuration as long as there's nobody to backstab them. Because they're just like, oh, we're just going to gangbang you. And no matter if you lose, you lose. If you win, then they're like, I guess we needed to coalition you, and we're never going to back out. Yeah, it's really annoying. It's one of the problems playing on a small map. On a big map, there's always somebody else, so that when you completely kill everybody's military, they'll be like, oh, I had been sitting by looking for a good war, and this seems like a great one. And then they'll jump in, and the coalition falls apart. Like, you can defend yourself, and then the game state changes. But here, I've got somebody who won't talk to me because they don't trust me. From something 3 years ago, which I just explained to y'all. Which is totally fine, by the way, to not trust somebody some after that. I don't think I ever lied to him. But I did withhold parts of the truth. And I think looking back on it, by the way, I would have done it differently. So I'm not really proud of it. I think if I would have done it differently, I would have been like, look, dude, I did more damage to him he would still be pissed, but I did more damage to him by accepting a peace agreement that I was going to do going in war. And I've already done my turn to slow Arco down. I've made him do huge PD dumps and this other thing. Now it's your turn. Good luck. I mean, he'd probably still hate me, but he ended up losing to Arco. I gave him as much intel as he could. Like, that wouldn't have changed anything about the game state. I told him literally as much as I could as Arco was moving his army south. The only thing that was different was he thought I was still fighting him, and I wasn't. But I was telling him at the time, like, his armies are moving south towards you. Anyway. But anyway, I've got one guy who won't even talk, and he's about to elf me. I've got, we're early summer. Yeah, and there's going to be one gap. The next turn I don't have the turn for, but after that, the episode's going to resume. But I've got these guys who are going to coalition me, and these guys who I think I've bought off by giving them... I mean, when you add it all up, how much they vultured from Helheim and how much I'm willing to give them for from Sarmatia, I mean, it's a cap and probably like 8 provinces I've given them. So it's a lot. Because I think I give them these 2 as well, and I think this one they can have back. I had taken it from them, but anyway, I think these they get just an enormous amount of stuff. But yeah, anyway, that's it, guys. I'm sorry, I was kind of rambly, and it's going to be kind of weird because you're going to go back in the next episode to me, who is much more caught up in the moment and hasn't really pulled back to look at things. So anyway, what I will promise you is we're going to give you a good showing of how to play early age Machaka. So buckle in and get ready for a bit of a wild ride, a salt-filled wild ride. All right, see you guys.